Thank you for joining the August 28th, 2018 VOLTA call. And this is our last week on Sprint 6, and so we'll be going over some updates for that today. Just a reminder, we do record this to post it later to YouTube. Keep that in mind during discussion and comments. And with that, I think we'll start off with today's discussion. So as I mentioned, this is our last week on Sprint 6. It's targeted to close at the end of day Friday. And so we'll be looking at some updates for items that are still in the to-do and in progress columns primarily. But first, we'll take a look at the new JIRAs. We've got a number that have come in over the last week, so we'll go over those. And let me switch to that screen. Okay. So the first item is, I think, related to some discussion we had, I think it's around last week. And so VOL 1178 mount certificates rather than building them into containers. And so this one would be a change. And I wanted to check with the team on if this is something we're planning to do for 2.0. I think it is, but I wanted to check with the group. Sean or anyone else? Comment?
Yeah, that's, I think it's a project we should go forward 2.0, but I don't know whether Sergio, you guys have been, more experience on this one, whether you have any comment on this. I think Sergio maybe just coming up.
Okay.
Let's put it in the 2.0.
All right. We don't have the resources signed yet, so we will need to look into that. Okay. The next new item, 1179, was Broadcom OpenOMCI Reconcile. And so this is one that is in progress being worked by Matt. So when the vCore process is restarted, there's a reconciliation process. And was there a comment? Nope.
No, I was just yawning.
Okay. Okay, so this one is being implemented on Broadcom OpenOMCI handler so they can survive vCore restarts. And again, it's in progress. And I closed up my controls, so I'm not sure if Matt is on the bridge.
I am now. It's done. Did I get upstreamed? I thought it did. No. Yeah, okay. So I just didn't flip it to done.
Oh, it's done. Okay. Let me just refresh. I will move this.
Well, I haven't changed it yet. You can if you happen to be there.
Yeah, I can do it if you're telling me it's done. So I'll go ahead and move that.
I'm saying it's done, yeah. So somebody argues.
Thank you. All right. Next item is 1180 PONSIM, enable packet out on NNI port. This one was done by Jono before he left as well. And PONSIM packet out assumes all packets are being forwarded to unis, and this was a change to allow to put packets on the NNI port. So that one is done. Questions before we move on? The next one is a defect that was raised, and this is on the OpenOLT side. OpenOLT handler state machine out of sync after reconcile, and this one has been done by Nick as well. Any questions or comments for Nick before we move on? Okay. Next is 1182, moving vendor IDs from old Broadcom ONU adapter to the new Broadcom OpenOMCI ONU adapter. So that was based on a discussion and decision we had from the group, I think it was last week. So this is a JIRA to track that, and that work has been done.
Great.
Any questions from the group? All right. Next is 1183, OF agent cannot reach vCore after vCore moved to different node in cluster. And this one is currently unassigned. And Nick, are you on the bridge today?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to give a little background on this for discussion?
Yeah, so I was using a cluster of Kubernetes, but with only one vCore and one OF agent. When they were all on the same node, it was fine. but then I bounced OF agent, and OF agent was moved to a different node, and it tried to reach vehicle on the same machine. I think by default is assuming that it's going to reach the one on the same machine, and it couldn't. So I had to bounce vehicle for it to be moved to the other node, and then when everyone was on the same node, it was fine. So I mean, it has to do with the clustering aspect and the strategy. We've not done a clustering when we have 3 of each. We just had a single one.
How reproducible was this?
Actually, this is it's a different issue in the sense of there's a one-to-one relationship between OF agent and vCore. So an OF agent cannot move from one vCore to another vCore. Even if you have a cluster, 3 OF agent and 3 vCores, an OF agent will always be bound to one vCore. And the reason is because the OF agent has to create open flow connections with owners, and it needs to know how many logical devices are in a vCore. So there's pretty much one-to-one relationship, and that's why it's like that.
This one was one where we had one vCore and one VOLTHA split across 3 different pieces of hardware, and the one OF agent that happened to be on one node and the one vCore that happened to be on the other node couldn't talk to each other.
But it was the result of moving.
That was only one of them? There was no...
We had one OF agent, one vCore.
We had one of each.
We killed the one vCore.
We killed the OF agent.
Oh, killed the...
It moved to another node, and the vCore didn't move. And so the OF agent could not talk to the vCore, because the one-to-one mapping is currently assuming they're on the same node.
Was it? No, but I thought it was using DNS name.
It's not. It's in the code.
Oh.
It's using local stop thing. Local handler.
It doesn't use
Okay,
DNS.
that's a bug.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how it works if we have 3 of each. Maybe that solved the problem. Maybe it was not supposed to be done the way I did it.
But I mean, if nothing else, if we have a 3-server cluster, one OF agent, one vCore, Kubernetes at will for its own reasons may decide to move any one of them around based on capacity and outage. And it's got to be able to handle that.
They use connectivity.
Yeah.
Well, but so maybe this is sacrilegious, but if they're tightly coupled one-to-one, why wouldn't they be running in the same container?
Well, I think the problem is they were never intended to be tightly.
It sounds like they are.
I think there was a hard-coded bug that says VOLTHA, the OF agent, and then vCore.
That was Ken, right? Ken was saying that they were one-to-one.
Yeah, but he also just said
No, there is a one-to-one relationship between the OF agent and the vCore at this time.
Shouldn't have to be on the same local node.
But they don't have to be. But if Nick is saying is looking at the code, it's looking for the local, then that's a bug. It should not be looking at the local. It's not meant to look at the local. If you have one OF agent and in a vCore running on separate nodes, it should still work.
So,
Go ahead.
So a related question. So if you have a OF agent and a vCore on the same server, right? So when either vCore dies or OF agent dies separately, will they move both into the new server or something like that? What I'm saying is, should the OF agent dies, trigger the shutdown of the vCore and move the whole thing over?
No, it should not.
Because you have the one. You have the one-to-one
shutdown. Well, killing an OF agent should not trigger the vCore to die. It should.
Can you say that again?
The OF. If you kill an OF agent, it should not trigger vCore to die. It should. Kubernetes should respawn another OF agent, and then that OF agent will connect to whatever vCore is available.
Okay.
vCore.service.cluster.local, whatever. If that happens to point at 1 or 3, that's a different issue, but it should connect to the one service name.
That's correct.
Okay. So a good discussion. So Ken, you said this is the bug. So
it sounds like a bug to me.
okay.
And just
go
a
ahead,
small
Sean.
note, if it's the other way around, you kill vCore, OF agent is going to die and then be moved to the same place. There's code in OF agent that check that if it's unreachable, if vCore becomes unreachable for more than so many tries, it's killing the process, and Kubernetes is going to recreate a node somewhere, a pod somewhere else.
Right, but there's nothing in the Kubernetes YAML that says that the two have to stay bound.
No.
So it sounds like an odd thing. 1 in 3 chances you're going to get it on the same host and you'll work.
Yeah, I think the way Kubernetes does is scaling. They kind of pick the next one.
Pick the one that's least loaded or whatever its mechanism for deciding where to run stuff.
I think they do not update this list before something else. So since it's simultaneously changing them.
So this says we need to connect to the DNS name. That's the gist of this bug.
Yeah, I guess.
So let's fix
So,
that.
Ken, I wanted to check with you on your site. So since this is a defect, my guess is we would put this in scope for 2.0. Is that your view?
Yeah,
well?
I think so. Yes. Yes.
And then in terms of sprints, I don't know if your team would be trying to tackle this in one of the next couple of sprints or after some of the additional core work is done. Do you have a sense, or do you want to take that back and plan it for a specific sprint later?
I think I'll plan it for a different sprint later.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Or let me ask this: does Sandra, you have a resolution already?
We do not.
You do not. Okay.
Yeah, this was just found in
So-
our.
But my idea was also like to start to get not necessarily discussion going, but what's the plan for HA Kubernetes? Do we have 3 vCore, 3 OF agents? What is the end game supposed to look like? And maybe we optimize for this.
I think that
bastardized.
I think that a design discovery, the design discussion. I think probably it should be how to say that is a good idea actually. What's the end game, right? So
The intention was to run 3. I just don't know if anyone's ever actually run 3.
Yeah, I think no one's done it yet, but maybe that's where we should focus the effort instead of trying to fix this. It's not an edge case, but.
Okay. So do you want to try and target something for one of the Thursday calls to continue discussion?
I think that'd be good.
yeah.
Okay. I think this week we have another discussion topic lined up, so maybe next Thursday, would that work for folks?
Yep. Because next Tuesday you want to do the sprint planning, right? So okay.
Right. Next Tuesday we'll be kicking off our first week of Sprint 7. So we probably need to take that time to just kind of make sure we have things in line.
Okay.
Okay.
So
If we
do
have
we
time,
assign
we
to
could do
Ken?
that, but I expect it'll be.
Do we assign this one to Ken right now?
Sure.
Let me see. Ken, where are you? There you are, way down.
And you, I always do and you, yeah.
Okay, so assigning it to him to assess an appropriate sprint. All right.
And then update story point.
Yeah, and then once we have a sense of the story points for that, then this may change as well. Okay. Next item is 1184, another defect, and this one is ONU does not move to active state. It looks like this was for 1 out of 4. Go ahead, Matt.
So yeah, this one, after we got round to it, there was one of the 4 or 5 ONU Shad was using that was an all-in-one device that didn't have any of its Ethernet physical termination points available on it yet. And there's something I haven't tried or even tested with an ONU that has like the notion of card holders and circuit packs and sending the right OMCI to be able to bring about those PPTPs. So that one particular ONU, or at this point, any what I would consider all-in-one ONUs that have Wi-Fi and routing capabilities and Ethernet ports on the backside of it that aren't unis. That has not been tested and currently not supported. For what it's worth, it wasn't supported on the old one either. So at some point in the future, we will, if we get a hold of one of these all-in-one ONUs and experiment with what it takes to send the OMCI to enable or create the PPTPs based on circuit packs and card holders, we can do that. But for right now, with this particular one, all I plan on doing is just putting logging and something in the device object to basically say missing managed entities aren't there, and I can't provision this ONU.
And the all-in-one ONU, is that ONU actually not in the bridge mode, actually in the routed mode?
I have no idea. I can't see what it looks like. I'll have to get a hold of one. What I think is happening is it's kind of somewhat defies the spec. It does have 3 unis available according to OMCI, but no PPTPs. A lot of the bridging configuration MEs, per the specs, say they want the PPTP ID, not the uni, though it's generally expected and understood that the 2 are the same. It's just in this case, they're on the uni side, but they're not on the PPTP side. So we're kind of at a, well, we don't have all the pieces we need to build the bridge yet.
Okay.
But I expect there's an OMCI conversation that needs to happen to kind of pre-build those endpoints and make them work, or something else I just haven't seen yet.
Did you think maybe we can ask Shad to send this ONU to you?
I was going to ask if I could trade one of my alphas that I know is not like this for the one alpha that he has that is an all-in-one. I was just going to ask to trade him, but yeah, that would be nice.
Okay, I'll ask him today.
So anyway, I'll put something in this one right here just to basically more clearly reflect the case that this is an ONU we're not ready for yet, and then it'll show it in the UI as such.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
Is that ONU, is the Broadcom or is it alpha?
It is an alpha. It's just a different model.
Okay.
For what it's worth, somebody on the mailing list or Slack had the same issue last week where they had an ISKT ONU that was in the same situation. It was an all-in-one, and again, we don't have one, so we hadn't accounted for it.
Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
I'll ask Shad to send that one to you.
Okay. Next item is 1185. This is an ATRAN OLT issue for adding some additional support there. Chip, I think in the interest of time, if it's okay, we'll kind of go quickly over the ATRAN specific one.
Okay, yeah, and they're both done.
Oh, they're both done as well. All right, thank you. So the other one was for ATRAN ONU and for the KPI metrics as well. The next is a defect 1187 Broadcom OpenOMCI PM error. And this was opened by Nick. And let's see here. Nick, any additional comments for discussion today?
It might be specific to the Nokia ONUs.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it's not answering back for that particular managed entity 312. So again, this is kind of ONU specific type of situation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a corner case, and it's creating errors in the log.
But it's still functional.
Yeah, this
it's for the PM, the
performance metrics.
Oh, for retrieving performance metrics. So it's not a big deal. It just
fills the log with noise.
It fills the log with noise. So now it's becoming hard to do anything else.
And yet another thing to graph out.
I'll turn that over to my team in Greece.
And what I can do is I can also probably give you some comments, because the PM instantiation should look at the capabilities of the OMCI capabilities and ignore and skip and not try to instantiate any MEs that are not supported by the ONU. So it could be something with how the capability is being discovered.
So that's true. And part of something about that as well is I had to kind of hard code around some of the capabilities discovery, because I'd found some ONUs wouldn't even answer back for that ME at all to even tell me what I can query. So I can get that detail whether or not that's the case for this one or not.
Okay.
The more detail that I can get, the quicker I can get this Greece team to fire up and test this.
Okay. And who is this speaking? I'm sorry.
This is Andy Urquhart from Nokia.
Okay,
So
yeah, good deal.
Andy, I can never seem to find you in the drop down, so I'm just seeing your name in here rather than having it pull it down. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure. If you tell me later who you want me to assign it to, we can do that, or they can assign it to themselves once.
Right, and again, they're all gaining login as we speak, and that.
Okay,
So there's a
great.
transition from what we're doing from Raleigh, we're moving it into Greece, and
Okay.
a couple other things.
Sounds good. And then also when you're looking at this with the team there, if you want to take a stab at what sprint you think that they might want to do this work in, then that would be useful as well. See if they want to do it in sprint 7 or if it would be later on.
I would think, because of what's on their plate right now, I don't think it'll be in the next, 2-3 week periods. I really don't. I mean, there's all kinds of equipment and a whole facility being built out, and new personnel resources and training, and a lot of stuff going on. So I need to be honest, I don't think it'll be in the next 2 cycles.
Okay, then.
But now, a response to this individual thing, maybe
Sure.
can be done, because there was significant work in that arena done, and I know for some other customers. So that one issue, but okay.
All right, thanks, Andy.
No worries.
And next item is 1188. This is another defect raised. The CIG OLT adapter is not added by VOLTHA by make build. And Nick opened this issue. And it looks like probably the expectation is that the make file may need to be modified. Any comments from the group?
That requires CIG to resolve it, right?
Now, the thing in the makefile is there is 2 ways to build the VOLTHA containers. And if we go one way, CIG is included as part of the Docker file. And if we go the other way, which seems to be every time I do it, I get the other way, it's not included. And then when it's trying to load the adapters, I have some errors in the log. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just to raise awareness that the CIG adapter is not always added. Yeah, they have 2 ways to build the VOLTHA thing. One is different Docker file, which include all the CIG OLT adapter files. The other one does not.
So Lynn, would you be able to take a look at this with your team on CIG?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll look at it. Thank you.
All right. Next item is 1189. New eFlow is crippling adapter. This one is done, but was raised and done by Nick as well. Nick, if you will make a couple quick comments.
Very dramatic word there, Nick. Crippling.
I think he's not sleeping these days.
Some changes were made to the flow decomposer in regard to the PONSIM, and it was adding an extra flow for the ONUs, and this extra flow made EAP non-functional because it was changing, the VLAN was going on, and then our other flows would not match anymore. So just someone added it on the older Broadcom ONU. I just transferred the code over there to ignore this flow.
Okay.
This is more or less a side effect of carrying around 2 ONU adapter code bases, and one getting fixed and the other one not.
But for the other ONU adapters, I don't know if changes were made. So if there is a need flow that's causing problems,
or is it an upstream any flow that has to go out the controller, right? Was it any controller bound flow?
Yes. I mean, any controller bound flow that matched on the ether type.
Yes, that was it.
Okay, so may need folks with their who are using their own ONU adapters to take a look at this to see if they're impacted as well. so that they can resolve it. Thanks for that, Nick. Other comments or questions before we move on? Okay. Next new issue is VOL 1190, propagate unreachable connect status to ONOS. And this one is in progress from Nick.
Yes, so I have the patch out on Garrett. So the idea is,
okay.
For review. The idea is currently OF agent collect the logical devices and pass it on to ONOS. So ONOS always sees the device available until the device is removed, deleted. So what I did is instead of passing all of them, I first screened to see the actual connect status of the device, and if it's unreachable, basically I do not pass it on to ONOS. I pretend that the device is not reachable, which it is not. So OF agent propagates this non-reachability status to ONOS, and ONOS now sees it as available false.
The problem this is causing is that ONOS would never see a particular device as going unreachable and would never do its job in regards to repushing flows if a device went away, because it never saw it as going away.
Yeah, and also for a unified view of things. ONOS, if ONOS sitting up and VOLTHA sitting down, doesn't make sense.
Questions or comments from the group? All right, our next was there a comment?
No. So basically, it's in review, so it should be done by this week, right? Okay.
I would think so, since it's out for review. Okay, 1191, OpenOLT reset flows on lost connectivity.
Yeah,
and this one's blocked by the previous one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move on to the next one, 1192, OpenOLT, force reboot if lost connectivity. And Nick, it looks like you'll be working on this one as well.
Did Shad make any comment about this one?
No, Shad is out this week. So, but the idea is, I realize we have one problem if we lose access to the OLT, like the management cable is removed and then plugged back. There is VOLTHA and the OLT now have different view of what's the current state of things. So the idea would be if an OLT has been up for more than 2 minutes, 5 minutes, so it hasn't been rebooted, force a reboot when we get it back to make sure that everyone is aligned on what's the state of the system.
Basically, force a reset to repush all the flows again.
Yes. It's like a fairly specific case if we lose management access, but the OLT doesn't go down.
Yeah, the OLT keeps power, but I unplugged the Ethernet going to the management port. Yes. Strange. Strange things happen.
Yeah, but this is a very.
It's a very unlikely scenario. It's just.
No, I mean, yeah. So.
Yeah, we can lower priority.
It's heavy-handed, but since it's such a rare use case, then that's okay to be. Okay.
And we even thought earlier that the dealing with it in the reset way might make it where this isn't as needed, right? Wasn't that what we talked about earlier, where when we do the flow reset, the earlier ticket, I think we ended up realizing once we do that, it may make it so this isn't as big of a deal.
Yeah.
So this one may end up getting done, or it may end up going away based on testing today.
All right, but you still think you'll be done by Friday?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it'll be done by Friday.
The last 3 or 4 of them we're testing right now.
Okay.
So this is for the external Ethernet management, right? So if we switch to the in-band management,
I mean, it'd be the
same thing. Yeah.
If we lose the cable that does in-band management and then we get it back, we have the same problem that we're not sure what the state of things are.
Sure. Did it reboot? Did it just lose? Somebody pull the cable and plug it back in again? Yeah, regardless if it's the out-of-band or in-band.
Just to make sure that we have convergence of the state of the system on both sides.
But either way, we're still thinking it's a rare use case.
It's a very rare use case. Yeah.
It is until it isn't.
Well, I mean,
I mean, ultimately, right, this prevents us from having to delete the OLT from the system and then re-add it.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want that. That one we don't want.
Right. That's the thing. Right now, our only option is forced administrative removal.
Right. Okay. And there's no such thing as a resync or something.
No.
Or audit. Okay. Okay. It's just not very legacy equipment type of behavior, but that's okay. Okay. Anybody else want to make comment on this one? But as we said, it's a very rare situation.
Okay, I'm not hearing anything else, so we'll go ahead and move on. Last one that I believe we have for today is full 1193, install and configure Kubernetes on test node. So this is some of the work being done by NorthForge on the test automation system. And so that one is targeted for the next sprint, kicking off next week. Let me refresh to see if anything else came in.
But the target, but assigned to whom? Who's going to work on this one? Installing
Yeah, sorry. Yes, this is Jill. Okay, so we're doing the our rework in stages. Like we did the, we're addressing the robot code refactoring initially, and then we're working on the conversion to Kubernetes. But at some point, like when we want to test it on Jenkins, we need servers that have that framework in place so that we can test it. That's what we're talking about.
Well, I know that NorthForge, we're going to allocate about an hour next on Thursday for some discussion, right? So, is this one of the items we can discuss on Thursday?
Yes, I guess we can. Yeah.
Okay. But at the meantime, is that something assignee?
It's nothing urgent. It's nothing urgent. It's just something that we'll need going forward once we complete our work to the conversion to Kubernetes, which we haven't done. That work is not complete yet.
Okay.
Okay, and since we kind of brought the topic up, I'll point everyone to what was one of the last items I think in the agenda I sent out was the notice about a topic we have for this Thursday's call. So we will be having some discussion with NorthForge, and they're going to talk about as we're some of the issues they've encountered and some questions that they have for the community. We need to get some dialogue going, and we're expecting about an hour of Thursday's call to be dedicated towards that. Okay.
Just in case some people is a late engagement with the VOLTHA community, so the NorthForge is providing the testing, the system testing capability. Basically, I think the first phase is duplicating what the ONF is doing in ONF test lab, but they're going to bring a separate lab right now in NorthForge, using the Jenkins to do the testing, right? So I think for the project, for the community, I think this is a very important test lab, and then so we want to make sure the setup and then the automation of this lab can be established.
Sean, this is Andy again. I think that's key for Nokia.
That's key for Nokia?
Yeah, I mean we need to be able to quickly be at the same reference point.
Okay. I mean, so that's good. So join the call on Thursday. And whoever in your company has expertise on this one, I invite them to join the call.
Okay. Again, I'm trying to motivate, so I've got issues, but I'll do what I can.
All right. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Sean. Okay, so I think at this point we can go on to some of the status updates for Sprint 6, and there may have been changes since I sent this out yesterday evening. So first one, I did want to call out, so 506, an issue that Andy has been tracking. So we do have one of the folks from Nokia trying to upload this to Garrett, and there is some discussion going on because they're having issues. It could be with permissions or something else getting the patch loaded in Garrett. So if we have anyone from the community who can give some guidance there, someone from ONF who can chip in with some help there, that would be appreciated. But that is on VOLTHA Discuss right now, an open question there for assistance and troubleshooting while getting this patch uploaded. Any comments from the group right now? Okay, then.
Girish from Redis has responded.
Okay.
I think this may be some firewall issue. So.
Okay. Thanks, Sean. And then let me go over to 540 and take a look at that. That one was, I think, under review in Garrett. And so this one, I think, will continue discussion. Is there anything anyone from the group needs to discuss on this item today, or do you think it'll be resolved during this sprint? Okay, I'm not hearing anything for discussion, so we'll let the review in Garrett continue. 1121, I had a question here, if we need a follow-up story. Okay, so this was related to the issue we had with PONSIM, and the encrypted gRPC connections were no longer working. So there is a patch merged in to fix the near-term issue so people could continue using PONSIM. And then there was a question on whether we needed to do something beyond the temporary fix. So right now the temporary fix was merged in. So do we need a new story now to target a long-term solution for this problem? So I don't think we have a separate story open for that.
No. I wonder whether we can ask Zach to open a new one.
Okay. So I'll follow up with that afterwards. Then the next item, 1129. Whoops, am I reading the right number? Yeah, 1129. This one, when I sent this out yesterday, was in need of review. Just wanted to follow up and see where we are on that. And this is one of the items being worked by NorthForge. And so we do have that up for review in Garrett. And if we don't have the right assignees, let us know if people need to be added as well. But we do have that out there for review currently. Any questions from the group? Okay, so if people could take a look at that. The next item is currently under review and discussion, I believe. Let's see if that's changed. 43. Okay, so Chip, this is on the OpenOMCI issues. And oops, and on this screen, I can't get to Garrett for this issue. So I think this was under review currently. Is there any discussion we need to have today on
no, I've gotten a couple of +1s, but no +2s yet.
Okay.
Is this something maybe Don Newton can review it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I'll add him on there if he's back from vacation.
Yeah, he's on the call now.
Oh, okay.
Don, are they talking about you?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I think they want you to +2 something.
Yeah.
1143.
Yeah, I'm still a little jet lagged from coming back from Hawaii. I started to go through it yesterday, Chip.
Okay.
Horsepower to do
Well,
it.
you should have.
Oh,
you're stop by the.
He's on the review already, so.
Okay.
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 All right. Thanks, Chip.
I'll get
Thanks,
to it today,
Don.
though.
Okay, no rush.
Okay. Next one is 1191. When I looked at it yesterday, it still needed to start reviews, or I didn't see any active reviews in there. And of course, on this screen, I can't get to it. All right. So this one was one that's opened by Nick. And
Yeah, it's 1190 that needs review.
was it 90?
This is one.
Ah.
Yeah. We talked about this one earlier, though,
That's
right?
the OF agent. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. That's
Yeah.
the one that.
Yeah, but that's like brand new, like yesterday
Yes,
afternoon, brand new.
Right.
Yesterday.
Okay. All right. So people can take a look at those. Those are out there. 483, this is a follow-up question for an item that we've had out there. 483. And I've closed up my controls for the meeting, so I can't quite tell who's on the bridge. So I'm not sure if Amit is on. We had a question for this, if this had been retested with the latest Broadcom release to see if the issue still occurs. And so I wasn't sure if anyone had had a chance to look at this with the latest Broadcom release.
Latest Broadcom Asphalt or latest Broadcom OpenOLT?
No, I think that is Broadcom OpenOCI.
Oh, well, I thought there was lots of signals in the logs. I know that's what Mike's been working on.
Yeah.
But it's
But that's that asphalt.
Yeah, but OpenOLT didn't exist at the time.
Yeah.
I don't think it did.
This LOSI clear alarm.
But there's stories around a lot of this stuff anyway. I mean, I know that's why.
I know the work's been done with it. Mike, we can ask Mike, because I know.
Well, I know, but there's other stories that are specifically addressing the alarms and
Yeah, when you're on.
Sure. I mean, I guess maybe the
Yeah,
point
I
is
think-
that it needs to be tested. I just. Yeah.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I have tested with the latest Broadcom release, that's 2.6, and we still see some issues with alarms getting cleared. They are raised, but they don't get cleared, especially the LOS alarms. I don't know if anyone else has seen these problems, but I have definitely seen this, and we are tracking this issue with Broadcom.
Okay. So if it is under discussion with Broadcom, if we could get a comment in here for tracking purposes, that would be great. And that would get a sense for.
I put in Broadcom CSP here.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Then next, 1104. 1104. And this one, I think, where we talked about this previously was, we have the change fixed for master, or the change was merged in for master. There was a question if from some of the discussion earlier up here, if there was a suggestion that this need to be looked at for the older releases, which brought up some other questions. So I just wanted to circle back to see if there's any other discussion we need on this item. So let me scroll back up to the top. So this was for, where's the change here? I can't get to Garrett here. Okay. Oh, here we go. So there was an update that fixed, here we go, fixed this for master, and then questions were raised about older releases. So is there any additional discussion we need on this item with the group? Because if we're fine with what was done for master, then I think this item likely could be moved to closed. But if there's follow-up work, then we need to continue to track it. Okay, I'm not hearing anything right now we've got about 13 minutes left. Let me go back to the next item. So 184. And this is, I think, sort of a question for Chip and for Lynn. So this JIRA, so Lynn, you're working on this one, and this is for updating, I think this one's being done for the Broadcom adapter. This is a Broadcom ONU adapter update to do the ONU software upgrade using the OpenOMCI framework. So we've got a number of other stories in flight for the framework side of this, and so I wasn't sure if we needed to add in some dependencies for 707, 8, and 9. I think 707 is done. For the software upgrade-related issues in the OpenOMCI tab.
I think 707 is
right. This one's done, I think, and then 708 and
so
709.
there should be no dependency between the 707 and OMSI upgrading. So and what I'm doing now is in the ONU adapter to support OMSI downloaded. That is a common function, can be used for both Broadcom ONU and any other vendor ONU.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think those are the main issues we wanted to go through. We've got about 12 minutes left, and let me go back to the board and take a look here if there are additional updates we need from folks for the in-progress work for Sprint 6, since we're trying to wrap that up this week. So Ken, let me just check in with you quickly for the team working on the core work. Do you have any issues you need to discuss with the group today?
No, not really. No.
Okay, thank you. And then Chip, on the OpenOMCI work, any discussion or comments for the group today?
No, that's going pretty good, and I think I actually might finish it up a little early.
Okay. And then on the tech profile work, we've got a couple folks working on that. Any comments or questions for the group today? I know some of that was blocked till recently.
Yeah, hey Julie, this is Barash. For the issue that is 733, I already uploaded the current required changes to the Gerrit repository, and the issue is currently waiting for being reviewed by the reviewers.
Okay, I wasn't catching quite everything over the audio. Sorry.
So can you hear me?
Oh, that's better. Yeah.
So I just give an update about the 733 issue. 733. I already completed the required updates within the codes and updated them to the current Gerrit repository, and it is waiting for being reviewed.
Okay, I'm not seeing, and that was 733, yes?
Yes.
I'm not seeing the link in Gerrit. Let me refresh my screen just to make sure.
It may be missing, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it populate in here related to that ticket. If you could put a comment in JIRA with a link to the patch, maybe we can make sure it gets reviewed that way. So if it's not populating here, it might not be visible for some other folks if they're just going through JIRA.
I will try to fix it.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
If you just prepend your Gerrit review with JIRA ID, it automatically links in here.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will look at it.
Thanks. All right. Other comments or questions from the group working on technology profiles? Okay, so we'll try and get that review underway for 7:33. So thank you for that contribution. And then we've had a little bit of discussion. Yes, question?
Just definitely, yeah, what I'm trying, just don't want to give pressure, but we're definitely waiting for the technology profile to be in place for, yeah, it's very important. So I thank Turk Telecom for putting effort on getting this implemented first. So hard working, working hard. Okay.
Yes, thanks. And then we did already talk a bit about the code review for the work from North Forge, the item we have on 1129. And then we do have some BBSIM work underway as well. So let me check in. Keita-san, are you on the bridge? Bring up the controls.
I don't see him.
Oh, he may have dropped. Okay, he was on earlier. All right. So there is some work underway in the sprint by Keita-san on BBSIM as well. So we can check in offline for that. We do have a few other, let's see, so did we talk about this one? Hold on one second. I think on 1162, we just had some discussion on what we wanted to do with the short-term solution until 1174 was done. So at this point, nothing. Oh, go ahead.
We still have to do some more testing now that reconciliation is working. If it's good, I will let you know.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I believe we talked about these other issues. We still have a few in the to-do column. Those are, I think, being pulled in to active as resources free up for the main groups that are working right now. So, okay. And then 1130 was one that I'm not sure that's going to happen this sprint. Okay, I'm not seeing anything else I think that we didn't talk about with the group specifically. Any other items people would like to discuss from the Sprint 6 items today? Okay, I think that takes us through. We have a few updates to do, a number of items that are up for review in Garrett. So if we could start getting those reviewed and comments back to the submitters as needed and see if we can get some of those closed out during the sprint, that would be great. And a lot of items in flight at the moment. We'll get some minutes and updates sent out. I also do want to note for everyone, so the Monday engineering stand-up meetings that we've been having, so next Monday is a U.S. holiday, so I've canceled that one off of the CORD calendar. But for the developers who are not aware of it, we do have those 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Monday weekly calls. They're usually just a few minutes. So I think also we probably want to discuss again, we've done it on VOLTHA Discuss a couple times, if that time slot works for folks or not. As if we only have one team represented, then they already kind of know what they're doing internally. So if we don't have a diverse representation, we don't get the benefit that we're looking for from that. So if we need to reassess the time slot, please let me know, send me a comment. And otherwise, you know, as I said, on next week, I've canceled Monday since I will be off for the day. And then this Thursday, we have the discussion with North Forge on the work that is underway that they've been doing, some updates, and also questions for the community related to issues they've run into and some items they need addressed and comments back from the community. So any last minute comments or questions for today? This is our last plan to kind of sync up on Sprint 6 before it closes out at the end of the week. Okay, then I think we'll wrap up for today. There is a placeholder for Sprint 7 and I think also one for Sprint 8 in JIRA. So if people want to start pre-populating items that they're expecting to work on for OpenOMCI, for OpenOLT, other items, feel free to do that. Those placeholders are available. Then on Thursday, during the first probably 30 minutes, we'll be mainly focusing on, unless something urgent comes up for Sprint 6, we'll be mainly looking at what needs to start going in for Sprint 7. And then we'll spend about an hour of the time on the discussion with North Forge. And I think that's it for today. Last call for comments before we drop the bridge. Okay, thanks everyone. I'll go ahead and close the meeting.